Yeah, what's up? It's your boy Larry Lowe. This is Public Discord. Today we have a cast of people here to speak about topics local, national, and international. So without further ado, let's begin. All right. So uh as we spoke earlier in the show or before the show, uh the COVID lockdowns. Everybody is it seems like we're going into two directions here. We've got either you're in the camp of everybody needs to be vaccinated because we told you to, or you've got people that question it for multiple reasons. Uh, to me, it seems a little bit crazy that we are, we're talking about. We first started talking about 2 weeks to to stop the spread. Then we went into lockdowns. Then They spoke about herd immunity, and it seems like we've gotten to that point with vaccination as well as being infected. So, what do you guys think's really going on with this, or do you really think it's just they're doing it for our best interest? Russ?
I tell you what's next: the zombie apocalypse. That's what's next.
Okay.
No, go ahead, guys. I'll go last.
I think what's happening now is that they kind of like just like bullying everybody into getting a shot. I mean, it's getting to a point now to where, you can't, if you work in certain fields like the medical field or the military is the one where you have to get vaccinated. You don't have a choice, And then my guess is you're going to have to deal with any other repercussions if for whatever reason you choose not to get vaccinated. So I think that's only going to get worse. So it's almost like, if you want to live within this system, at some point you're going to have to get vaccinated. That's at least my take on it.
Well, let me say this real quick. Do we all agree that people are sort of being vilified for not being vaccinated? Do we all agree on that?
Oh, I think it's an authoritarian move. Okay. Okay, so when I look at this whole scenario, okay, first of all, I don't think that they're telling us the straight facts. Maybe they just don't know, and they're moving along accordingly. You know what I mean? But if that's the case, then just tell us, hey, look, man, we don't know everything, and that's cool. Hey, man,
they know good and well what they're doing, dude. I mean, come on, they know where the virus came from. They know who initiated the fucking virus. They know all this shit, dude. This is just a game. This is just to take your freedoms and expose this country for what it is. And I mean, it's right down the middle now. They've done their best to divide this country in half, because if the country's not divided, dude, nobody would be on this shit. Nobody would be taking these fucking vaccines, dude. I mean, this is split us right down the middle. Now the people that got the vaccine are fucking pissed at the people who don't get the fucking vaccine. My house is divided, dude. I haven't got the fucking vaccine. I don't trust the government as far as I could see them. And that's the biggest reason why you got the people who won't take the fucking vaccine. You've got probably 40 fucking million people in this, or probably, if you got 300 million people in this country, you probably got a quarter of them are not vaccinated. Maybe a third are not vaccinated, if not more than that. I mean, and only half the people got one fucking shot. I mean, only half, I'm sorry, are fully vaccinated, and only a little bit more have just one shot.
Well, see, I saw something in the news where they were showing that there was a good portion of military men that didn't have the vaccine. And you also got the police officers. You've got the mail carriers that were upset about that.
They let the mail carriers off.
Yeah, they did. They let us off.
See, that's the thing that's why. Okay, how the fuck can you get up there and make all these speeches about people with 100 people at the job got to get the vaccine? Okay, and everybody else has to get the vaccine. And as a truck driver, some of these places won't let you in without a fucking vaccine.
I've heard about that.
You got to choose where, hey, I'm not delivering there. You know what I mean? And with the, how are you going to say that all the federal workers have to get this vaccine? And then the last hour, you let the mail carriers off. There's 600,000 of them.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
that's a lot of scare tactics. So, but it's going beyond scare tactics now. You have the people who are selling the vaccine cards, and they can give them up to like 5 years in jail, I hear.
oh, they created a black market. They created a black market.
True.
But remember, like, what they can do with the black market, almost as in like how Lori Lightfoot had the new law against the gang. You know, they can go into infrastructure and like take over and take assets now, you know, so these things can really damage you. And that's the scare tactic, of course. So just think of this. We all agree that that people are basically being vilified for not being vaccinated. Now, who remembers what the largest demographic was of the unvaccinated? What was the largest population? What was that demographic?
Black Americans.
Exactly. You got it.
And
So
more
think
specifically, Mississippi.
I'm going back to what Michael was saying when he talked about the division. Then we got the whole political thing, Democrats, Republicans. We got the whole police thing, police citizens. We got the black and white thing. Then throw a little Asian hate in there, and you got a big American gumbo, right? Everybody, they got the Asians in there. We're gonna get the you know, the Latinos in there soon, you know, even though it's already on.
Well, see, this is what I've seen over the last year that scares the hell out of me. All right. See, you can put aside and brush off one segment of society being pissed off. But it went from, you know, the protest in the beginning of the year, right? Angry people. Granted, enough angry people to tear some shit up, right? Then second, you went, well, before that, you had the guys on the steps of that Capitol, right? And people were talking about, you know, oh, you know, they're showing their privilege, right? But to me, we wouldn't be in this situation if we would have said, hey, man, those guys were right, because right now we're stuck on job or jab situations, you know? But it all started from the 2 weeks to flatten the curve. You know what I mean? So it started with that. Then it went to the angry, you know, angry people. Then it went to angry people in the stock market. Then it went to angry people on the fucking Capitol. Now it's angry people because you're making them do a medical procedure. And gradually they've been cutting up the people all along these lines, in my opinion. You know, at least that's what I'm seeing when I'm reading this stuff. You know, now
when
there's
the
going to
white
be
people stormed the fucking Capitol, dude. If the black people would have got on board with them there, that would have changed the whole country. That would have done it right there.
Yeah, that's too much like right though. That's too much like right.
I mean, but see, that's because you had Black Lives Matter, and then you had these guys like the Proud Boys or whatever. And you know, obviously they're not the same group, but man, that's what leaders come together and say, you know what, for the better of the country, let's do this shit.
Nah, but see, that wasn't even the whole thing as far as the Capitol. But go back on what you were saying earlier. Personally, I think it's meant to be sustained. Because, you know, if you take a look at Border Patrol and you have illegal aliens and you got all the people coming in from Afghanistan, we can't even guarantee that they got vaccines. So then now, like I said, you have certain industries where it's required or not required to get the vaccine. To me, that seems like it's meant to be sustained. The thing to do would be to mandate it countrywide. That would knock everything out. If it's mandatory for everybody to get a vaccine, if this virus is as bad as y'all say it is, then that would knock everything out. Boom, we can get back to normal life. But once you start leaving it up to individual government, then you're going to have all these angry people. So in my opinion, looking for a reason to get out and tear some shit up because more and more of their liberties are being taken away. So yeah, you may say on one instant, okay, well, you know, it's the Proud Boys. Proud Boys been there forever. Black Lives been there, fairly new organization. It's been there. But now you got something to even push them out even more to take to the streets and tear some shit up. It all comes down to money to me. It's always a payday. You see what I'm saying? Like they never, like you.
A couple of things. you speaking of Afghanistan, all the people, did y'all hear about the 10,000 immigrants that came over yesterday?
Were they
Oh, yeah.
vaccinated?
Exactly. Good question. Of
That's
course
my
not.
point. You see what I'm saying?
And
So it's meant to be sustained.
Well, see,
It's
that's the
gotta
thing.
be meant to be.
But see, that's the thing that kills me right now. You know what I'm saying? We were all stamped with a number when we got here. You know what I'm saying? When we came out, our parents, our mothers, they stamped us with a number, right? And they can track us no matter what. It's just about the government overreach that is there and accessible to them. You know what I mean? Now, I don't have like I said, the way I look at it is simple. From a scientific aspect, if you got sick, you've got the antibodies. Excuse me. We should be considering more of, between you and your doctor, you talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, okay, personally, right? I caught COVID. I caught some normal, or not normal, but what they say could happen after you catch COVID, right? I caught a little blood clot, whatever, right?
Okay.
So now I got this in my body already. Should I be concerned about adding some more of this spike protein into my body unnaturally when I already got the antibodies?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because and that should be a choice. That should be a choice.
First of all, since you said that, I'm glad we're doing this on Zoom. First of all, thank you. I don't want to catch none, Larry. But secondly, man, but secondly, like he was talking about Afghanistan and the money and the things behind it. Because here's something exactly.
Yeah. Like the guys in the car.
The single guy in the car. That guy needs to be taken out of the car.
Like, of course, we thank the doctors and the first responders, and of course, a lot of people are risking their lives out there, and they're doing a great job, of course. But this thing was created by some doctors somewhere.
Oh, did you see the papers, the FOIA papers?
No.
Oh, okay. So evidently they did a FOIA request on Fauci, and he's had his email saying, "Is this one of ours?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Evidently, he didn't call it gain of function research, but it evidently was part and parcel to gain of function research that he was funding in a Wuhan lab. Just a coincidence?
Wow.
No, it's not a coincidence, and he knew that. Like they even predicted, this pandemic 2-3 years ago. They said, well, this is going to happen within a certain amount of time, and it did. Of course it did, because they planned it to happen, because they wanted to do this to the people. Could you imagine? I mean, just think about it. How much would Trump would have won by? They absolutely, this whole thing was to get him out of office. I mean, when you really break it down, they wanted him out so bad. He wouldn't deal with China. He wouldn't. I mean, like, dude, he wanted to throttle them. He was going to break them down, man. Like, he wanted to kill them. China was holding out that whole time. That's why you still got stuff. I mean, I'm in intermodal, and you still got stuff out to sea. There's no shortage. The shit's out there waiting to come in.
Right.
It's all the tariffs. And now that they don't have a tariff, they're bringing the shit in. Trump was tariffing all this shit.
Well, Michael, that the ironic part of that is, like, we look at Afghanistan and everything, and of course, imagine when we first got there, but we're trying to so-called evacuate and everything. Like 90% of heroin globally comes from Afghanistan.
Exactly.
So when you talk about money, that's why they occupying that. That's like Saudi Arabia with the oil. Yeah, come
100%.
on. Everybody knows this by now.
Dude, how do you think they finance these wars? I mean, with outside money. And this is how they do it. They come into the black communities with all this shit, and then they get their money, dude. That guy wrote that years ago. I forgot his name, Gary something. And they killed him. You know what I mean? Because he brought that to life.
We interviewed Rick Ross, Freeway Rick Ross. Rick Ross. That was Gary Webb.
Story in the LA Times. The reporter who wrote the story.
Exactly.
Yep. Oh, dude, it's crazy. But see, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, they put so much pressure on the regular person. You know what I'm saying? That's just trying to live their life and do their thing. dude, I personally believe most of this has to do with government overreach overall. People are mad because the police are in their ass. People are mad because the tax man's in their ass. People are mad. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, instead of just, hey, look, whatever I do as long as I'm a productive member of society, leave me alone.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you
but
know, the government never has done anything right. When you think about it, I mean, from student loans to everything else, they've never done anything right. That's why
That's
you
a
can't
hell
have
of
the government in anything.
Shit.
I
Well,
said that's a quote. The government has never done anything right. That's a great quote.
Never.
hey,
I mean, the student loans, when they started, you know, they create the student loans, which wasn't a bad thing in the beginning, but then they make it so a person can't bankrupt it. They took that, you know, I mean, they had all those people come in because now you know you can't bankrupt the student loan, so you're in that shit forever.
right.
Well,
And
let me tell you the significance of that. The significance of that is the education system, the miseducation. If you miseducated, then when you get to be our age, then you become one of those puppets that don't know how to defend themselves, don't know how to stand up for their constitutional rights. You didn't just become miseducated. You've been miseducated from a child. That's why we led to believe these things. That's why people go along with these things, because you can just tell them whatever and they go along with it. I don't think any of us go along with it.
if
no,
not, you're
no,
not a damn patriot.
no. You know
You're
what? You know
right.
what? No, I read 1980. I read 1984, and I took it as a warning, not as a how-to guide. You
Right.
know,
I was going to say that. Everything coming Orwellian. You get what I'm saying? And look, speaking of that Orwellian thing, they always talk about how like the youth would turn in their parents and things like that. Neighbors would turn in parents. You know, people, strangers would turn in each other, you know, for the people not falling in line. So that goes in line when like, when did sharing your personal medical information become popular? So like you talking to somebody and they might say, oh yeah, I got HIV, diabetes, and I'm vaccinated. You didn't ask for all of that. You get what I'm trying to say? So,
Right.
but the slippery slope is if I can tell you that, then you can ask me that. Somebody asked me that in the grocery store, just a stranger, you know, and he just asked me, and I just told him I don't share my medical information in public with strangers. He didn't know what to say because nobody probably even told him that during this climate. You get what I'm saying? People just falling in line. You know, so when somebody asks me, you'll never know. And I'm not going to say it on this podcast.
Right?
But you know what?
Keep that to yourself.
But
But
don't
I
I
think
look back? Don't I look vaccinated?
sure.
hey. Oh man, did you see the people in New York going crazy?
No.
Dude, oh, there was a man and his family, and
Which
he's
day?
in New York. In New York.
I said, which day?
So
You said the people going crazy. I said, which day? Which story are you talking about? They always going crazy.
no. But the guy was in New York with his family, and they were they were pushing the vaccine. He goes, you know, we're religiously, religiously exempt,
Mhm.
and they pushed it. They pushed it hard on him to where it was pretty much a fight.
Hey,
You
I
know?
was gonna bring that up. I'm glad you brought that up. I just got my vaccination documents for exemption. If that's a hint, Rastafari. So
Okay.
religious exemptions do exist, my brother. They
But
do
see,
have letters.
but
They
here's the
do
deal.
have safeguards. I mean, in every religion.
Yeah.
But like you said, they got to stand on it. That's the thing. They got to stand on it.
But then, Russ, I got a question. How long do you think it'll be before they start targeting people for religious backgrounds that's not getting this this vaccine? Because that's what's coming next.
Bingo.
Okay, so since we doing that now, of course, since that's the thing now, you know, just like the vaccination cards, and now they got laws against that, they can do that with religious exemptions. But this is like in the Constitution, this is like the Supreme Court is, you know, backing this. And before that happens, I know people will stand up and they'll have, whether it's their aldermen or their local government. Because remember, this is just like I was telling you about how the miseducations lead is, later in life. The religious people that are going for the exemptions, they not weak people. They not people that's gonna bow down. You're not gonna have no Rastafarians and no Haitians and Ethiopians backing down. You're not gonna have probably the Chinese community backing down. You get what I'm saying? You're not gonna have people backing down. And that's where the fight starts.
Bingo. That's where you're going to get another segment of society who's angry enough to stand up. And it's going to see, this is the part that scared me. It feels like they keep on pushing the bear. They keep poking the bear. And that's the thing, is that you don't know how, like, my biggest fear is balkanization in the United States of America. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with that term. It relates back to the Balkans and how it used to be one area homogenous, and then boom, they had their wars and they all split up into pieces. That's why you got the Slavic nations, and it's a lot of the Eastern blocks. It's called balkanization, the Balkans.
Yeah, used to be Yugoslavia, and now it's like, you got Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia.
Exactly.
They're all separate. And that whole thing used to be Yugoslavia.
Exactly, and that's my fear about the United States right now.
It's happening right now. It's happening in Hyde Park right now in other neighborhoods. It's called gentrification. That's what we call it.
But
there's something different. That's something.
Yeah, that's totally different, because you're going to have Texas break away as a state. I mean, they are already pushing to do that. You know what I mean?
New Hampshire,
you're going to have like
New
that
Hampshire.
kind of stuff. Florida doesn't want to be with the United States. I mean, like, and they don't have to be. There's certain places like.
You mean the breaking away states?
Exactly. Yeah, New Hampshire right now for their representatives are drafting up something to say that they want to secede. Like this is,
and they're going to be like these Big Ten schools. You know how like you got 10, 12 teams? That's going to be 10, 12 states in this little clique. You're going to have like that, dude. It's going to break off like schools.
So then it's basically the country's progress as far as being a United States is going in reverse.
Yes,
that's what it looks like.
That's crazy. But see, because it makes good sense. It makes good sense because no, go ahead.
No. Well, you know what? This is a good segue into the Biden presidency. So let's talk. No, because now we're talking balkanization. We're talking about politics. We're talking about what's going on with the Biden presidency now. Okay, so. Hey, no. We got to keep it moving. So now,
vote for Joe Biden, you're not black enough.
That's what he's saying.
And
black folks bought a hook, line, and sinker.
You fellas black enough to vote for Joe Biden?
That's what he said.
Dude, I couldn't. Dude, I'm sorry, man. Look,
that's some shit.
It's too funny.
That's some shit for real.
Dude,
it's a lot though.
Dude, that guy anyway, yeah. Let's start with this, man. Let's start to the meat and potatoes. What I wanted to talk about Joe Biden, man. Him pulling out of Afghanistan. All right, we talked about a little bit of Afghanistan already. All right, now, to me, and this is from a civilian's aspect, okay?
No.
I'm looking back and I say to myself, all right, wouldn't you want to get everybody out and blow the shit up? I mean, now, am I thinking caveman thoughts here? Or isn't that protocol? Like you get everybody out and you blow the shit up. Right?
No,
that's absolutely wrong. Why are you wasting that much money? And like,
no.
Why would you leave pallets of fucking money, dude? I mean, like, out of everything else, those fucking money. Hey, everybody, $10,000, $20,000, let's go. I mean, like, why would you leave it?
They had money. See, I didn't know this.
Dude, there was pallets of money. They had a whole room. Like, if you went into a room full of money, dude, and they left that shit over there.
Shit.
Yeah.
Money's guns and drugs. That's enough to start a war, Jack.
Definitely left guns over there.
Yeah, but that's why this all seems planned. This seems planned. It doesn't seem like it was.
That was like the Three Kings when they left all of the gold and everything.
They wanted them in their pocket. The Democrats are getting their own army. Okay, the Democrats are getting their own army, boys. I'm telling you, it's tough.
See,
So
what I'm looking No. What I'm looking at is this, and this is my question, man. Like, okay, I'm thinking to myself, Iran is right next to there, right? I think they're feeding the enemy in order to push another war. To be honest,
It's no secret that the government finance wars. They've been doing that shit. Look at Chicago. You look at all the gang wars. It's the same thing they do everywhere they go. They're gonna drop off money or a way to get money, and they're gonna drop off guns. Boom, there's your war.
And now they've gotten so brazen.
that's the thing.
They got so brazen. They did it in front of the whole nation.
In front of the world, in front of the fucking world, man.
Right in front of everybody.
Are we forgetting Afghanistan is the top drug producer in the entire world?
Yeah, and we were producing those drugs.
Huh?
We were producing. We were over there guarding those poppy seeds. You know what I mean?
That's my point. That's why we holding it down over there. That's the reason for the belligerent military occupation.
Mhm.
That's the exact reason. You know, things like that, the unseen. Like whatever they showing us, that's not what it is. That's why things never quite match up. When you look at the news and do your research and it never quite match up, it's always a discrepancy.
When I look at Afghanistan, I see a 20-year reaction to a terror attack that turned into nation building. And as soon as we left and we pulled what we had in there, that nation fell. Does that make sense? Like
It don't make sense at all.
No. Okay, for example, right? There's a 20-year occupation that occurs, right? So that means that there's a group of people, 18-year-olds, grown people, that have never known anything else but U.S. occupation. You know, they're used to women, you know, being able to go to school, things of that nature, right? Think about that. And as soon as the United States pulled our infrastructure out, right? Just, you know, our general, whatever we did to keep that machine moving, it went like that. So my question is, was it because they didn't really want it? Because if they didn't really want it, then man, that friends of mine, relatives died because of that shit. Friends of mine served for that shit. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like when he pulled out of that joint, to me, it was an insult, because if you were gonna hand it over like that, make sure everybody's good, and make sure that they don't have the weapons to come back at you.
The whole thing is Afghanistan, the people of Afghanistan, the like 300,000 they trained in Afghanistan, right? Didn't want to fight against the Taliban. That's really what it boiled down to too. They didn't want to man up and fight. You know, you can't stay there forever.
No,
they should have never been there anyway.
When it's a nation
been there anyway. But when you're going to be there, you're supposed to be the biggest military force on the planet, okay? And bigger than the first 25 combined, supposedly.
But they say on paper.
And you can't beat fucking some commandos in fucking Afghanistan with all. I'm not talking about, you didn't have to go on the ground with these guys. Just have drones and just blow the shit out of them. I mean, like, you don't even have to do that. Every time you spot one of those motherfuckers, drone him. You know, I mean, it's that simple.
But see that's
wait.
That's where you go into the theater.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, Michael, did you say drones?
We got 5 minutes, gentlemen. 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You can't say drones. They just killed 7 children.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with this.
No, I understand that, but I'm not saying to have the same idiots charged that are in charge right now, okay? Because clearly they don't know how to leave a war. I mean, honest to God, a dumbass from anywhere would know to grab everything out first and get rid of all the civilians, get rid of everything before the military leaves. Grab the military first, leave all the weapons.
Let me say this last thing, Michael, Jamal, and Larry, man. I love talking to you guys.
Same here, bro.
I just want to say, it's funny, Larry, you asked how much sense does that make? Your last question about Afghanistan and you know, the evacuation and everything. You said it's been a 20-year thing, right? So guess how long Afghanistan has been the top drug supplier? Guess how long, guys?
20 years.
20 years.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh yeah. No, it's yeah.
And not to mention another thing about military, me being prior service, anytime you deploy over 90 days, you basically get paid more money in addition to your regular base salary. So now you have these guys over there doing 180-day rotations at a time. These guys are making money hand over fist, which in turn is taking money from the taxpayers. So I believe the whole thing was meant to be sustained. I didn't realize the whole thing about the drug thing, but when you put that in the mix with more taking more money from the taxpayers, then it makes perfect sense. It's always about a dollar.
Yeah, the contractors got rich over there.
In addition to that, now you have people bigger, like good example, I deployed to Bangladesh in 2001 and I deployed to Thailand in 2002. Both of those places we went to for two reasons. One, so we could have a place to land our planes if we get into a conflict with a neighboring country. Two, is to, well, there really ain't no second reason. But so we built, what we do is what we, I was an engineer. So what we did was we built a school. We built a school for them, one in Thailand, one in Bangladesh. See, now that's like a gift. Instead, you know, sort of like a gift to them to say, hey, okay, cool. If we need y'all, then we can come to y'all. We can land our planes here. You know,
Safe
so
haven,
it's a
safe
network
haven,
type of
safe
deal.
haven.
Right, safe haven. So I guess they were trying to do that with Afghanistan. I'm pretty sure they did build some stuff over there. I'm sure some engineers over there. But as soon as
Got
they
enough
left,
stuff though, close enough. You know what I mean? They
Okay.
can't, you know, have something. I mean, they got stuff in Puerto Rico. They got stuff everywhere. The Army has stuff everywhere. I mean, like the Marine Corps is different. They're smaller, but
Right.
the, you know, Navy, obviously they're out in the sea, but like the Army has bases everywhere.
that's
And
true.
the Air Force has like a few funky ones like Philippines and, you know, stuff like that.
Well, it's a domination thing. You know that. I mean, it's America's greedy and power hungry. So it's definitely a domination type of deal, you know, to where they just want to control everything and everybody and change everybody over to their way of thinking and their way of life. But you have some people that ain't standing for that shit. And they'll put guns up, they'll die for it.
Dude, Afghanistan.
Colonizing. It's just colonization, point
Was-
blank.
Oh, yeah,
And let me tell you about those
Definitely.
things when you have like the Haiti earthquake, even though they just had another devastation. But like I remember Brad Pitt donating millions and millions of dollars for the infrastructure. But you know what? Then they gonna have the Brad Pitt Drive and the Brad Pitt Coliseum, and pretty soon Brad Pitt gonna own Haiti. And that's the domination that you're talking about. Because I know if I gave millions to, let's say, your street, your block, I'm gonna run that block now.
Well, that's what
Mhm.
China's doing right now. That's what China's doing right now. China's doing a lot of infrastructure in
In
South America
Africa,
and in Africa as well.
Africa.
Yes, sir. So
Same
that,
shit.
they're
The
getting
Asian
into.
in America, it's on a whole nother level with what they doing, because a lot of black people are you know, wising up to what's going on in Africa with China. Meanwhile, you got the the COVID-19, and then look what you got, you know.
All right, gentlemen, we got to wrap this up, man. I really appreciate you guys being here. You're more than welcome to come to another one.
Peace,
I
Russ.
really
Peace,
appreciate
Mike.
it.
you
All
guys
right, Mike,
take care.
Russ,
Nice to meet you.
Peace, Flo.
Kennard. Hey, do me a favor. Anybody want to shout out anything? Let's do it right now before the time's up.
Can I do it with go to YouTube and go to Devils with a Z by DJ Soul? That's my video now explaining some of this that we talked about. Devils with a Z on YouTube by DJ Soul.
Okay. Also, you can check out my YouTube as well. That's Kennard the DJ. That's all one word. Again, I have a show called Uncommon Sense Show. We usually air it every Wednesday. And come check me out. There's some stuff out there you might like.
All right, Mike, anything or just look out for your memes.
That's it. I'm good.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us here. I appreciate you for checking out the show, and good night and God bless. Peace.
Same to you, Larry. Have a good night, guys.